Took a little trip a few days ago down to Swan Island in Richmond. We started up in Sidney from the boat launch on the Kennebec River. Here we are just setting out, and here's our first set of rapids over by below Browns Island. And doesn't look like much, but it's a little boat. It's a 14-foot boat, and we're loaded pretty heavily. So I just take it easy. And here's Edwards Dam area. Again, pretty good rip. It was flowing about 10,000 CFS, so I just kind of chilled out. And this is a tricky area because it shoals out and it's only a couple feet of water, so I have to put the engine up and pretty quick current through there. And then here's in Augusta, just below Edwards Dam, going under the railroad bridge, which again, there's a good rip in there. It's shallow, but then it gets deeper and it's pretty easy. And then some old bridge. I don't know much about that. Here's the little bridge in Augusta and downtown Augusta, which kind of good looking. I think it has a lot of potential, and I think some places may be starting to see that. That customs building down there, that gray one with the turret, that's a fabulous building. Pretty cool. For so long, a lot of these communities turned their back on the river because it was so polluted. It reeked. It was so polluted. And now I can swim in it. It's pretty amazing. It's an amazing river that's had an amazing comeback. Here on the right is an example of an old wharf. And the whole way down, you could see the remnants of the old shipping industry um, along the Kennebec. Wharfs, both sides. Also, ice was a huge deal. Ice houses and shipping ice all over the world was a big deal um, on the Kennebec. Here's Hollowell. Hollowell's a great little town. Pretty. Good restaurants, good vibe. It's a nice place.
Oh, that was bad. Bad.
Yeah, the good, bad, and the ugly. That was the ugly right there. I did not know where the channel was and obviously missed it. It was low tide, ground my prop a little bit, but that shit happens. It happens when you have a boat, especially a river boat. Here's Gardner. They have a lot of wharf, a lot of docks, but the end of navigation is right there in Gardner, so they get a lot more boat traffic. So from Gardner to Swan Island near Richmond, it's about 12 miles. So super calm day, and the clouds were a little crazy. Um, so we just motored on. So we got to Swan, and Swan Island is also known as the Steve Powell Wildlife Management Area. It's managed by Inland Fisheries and Wildlife. It's on the National Historic Register as a historic district. There's a lot of old homes, very rich history. It comprises two islands, a whole bunch of tidal wetlands around it that have a lot of wild rice in it, a lot of ducks and waterfowl, a lot of wildlife. The campground is on the east side along the Little River between Swan Island and Little Swan. and it comprises of 10 Adirondack shelters spread out through this field. So we always try to stay at this shelter here, Loon Nest. I put my hammock inside, and Amy puts her hammock off to the side in those trees. Not a fan of that fireplace divided in the middle. Nice little touch with the loon painting. There's an extensive trail network here on Swan Island, and here's one example of a little loop near Beaver Pond. Looks like the beaver's having a good time there. And I geeked out pretty hard on these houses. There's a lovely salt box right there. And Benedict Arnold and Aaron Burr and Henry Dearborn stayed there when Arnold was going up to Kennebec. I'm a pretty big Benedict Arnold fan, and you should read your history, recent histories about Arnold. I think he was super underappreciated, and I'm not sure he's quite the traitor that everyone portrayed him as.